Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, first story up. CarlieRussell. Oh, Carly. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know, because it was all over social media yesterday, that CarlieRussell has been found to be spreading a non-truth when she called her mother and let her know that there was an abandoned infant walking on the side of the highway. She was driving on that highway that night, spotted the baby, pulled over, and didn't know what to do. Her mother instructed her to call the police, which she did. Or maybe she called the police first. Whichever way it happened. I think she called the police first, then called her mother. And while she was on the phone with her mother, they said that they heard her scream, and then the phone went just air. They could hear that the phone had probably been dropped somewhere, and we didn't know what happened to CarlieRussell ever since. It was all over social media. I believe that was Saturday. People were sending me inboxes asking me to pray for her, and of course I was very concerned about her whereabouts, her safety. I was hoping that everything was going to be okay, but when you hear about people being kidnapped, usually those stories don't end well. Mostly because unless the person is able to escape, when you have a kidnapper, you can identify them. And, if you get back and you're able to tell the people that this is the person that did this to me, then now they're in trouble. So 9 times out of 10, I would think that kidnappers try to get rid of the evidence, And so I was hopeful that something good would happen, but I had a feeling that this was not going to turn out well. Well, to our surprise, on Monday, I guess it was, she turned up. And when she turned up, that immediately, I was like, something is interesting about this story. But you know what? I've been doing this job long enough to know that sometimes I just need to sit back, listen to the story, and most importantly, wait for the actual facts to come out. But when she did turn up, I think a lot of people were a little bit skeptical about her whereabouts. Her parents, or mostly her mother, God bless her soul, moms, we just want to protect our baby, okay? We want to believe our children, what they tell us. We want to think that they wouldn't lie to us, something on such a grand scale as this. So, yeah, her mom believed her daughter, went on to a news show that, her and her husband were interviewed, and talked about what the daughter went through. Now, up until now, we didn't know exactly what. They just said that she was non-responsive, but she obviously was alive, and the police were called and they took her to the hospital. Okay, that's all that we were told. They said that she was mentally and physically fighting for her life, and it was important to give Carly some time, some space to get her head back right, get reacclimated. She's been traumatized in these last 49 hours that she had been missing. The boyfriend also was very, very visible on social media. Okay, wanted the people to help find her, and then when she did turn up, he went on and he thanked everybody for the prayers, and he was hoping that everybody would give her that space that was the parents were asking for as well, and saying that she had physically and mentally fought for her life, and she's back, and he's so happy, and all of that. But if you paid attention to that, especially that interview that the parents did, the mother was talking up her baby, okay? The father was just sitting over there looking like he wanted to run. And that was when I knew that something in the milk was not clean, okay? But again, Roxanne, don't get up on your own social media. Don't be all on Twitter. You know, you don't rally the people. Don't get them all rifled up and upset and all that. Let's just wait until the information came out. But I knew that it doesn't take this long for investigators to at least come out and say, yes, this is the person, the description of the person or persons responsible. Be on the lookout for them. I mean, you have to remember, this is a whole community of people that might possibly potentially be in danger. Okay. And I knew that it shouldn't take that long for them to at least warn the public about that. So I was just waiting. I was like, I'm not y'all ain't fixing to be cussing me out and saying how I should be protecting black women and I shouldn't be spreading these kind of rumors without getting the information and I shouldn't be doing this and I shouldn't be. I was like, I'm not even gonna do that. Okay. And then sure enough, the bomb was dropped yesterday. Today is Thursday, so yesterday was Wednesday, and the investigators came out and they shared with us what they had found so far in this investigation. Nobody has said that she was lying. They just wanted to present the facts of why, you know, they were where they were at this time. They haven't told us about a kidnapper or anything. So basically, the police got onto a conference yesterday and told us that the days leading up to Carlie's disappearance, she was doing quite a bit of research on the internet. She was researching, you know, the age of Amber Alerts. Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? I guess she was trying to make sure that her parents weren't going to be charged for this. She Googled how to take money out of a register without being caught. She Googled bus tickets from Birmingham to Nashville. She Googled the movie Taken, and if you guys remember, that movie was about the criminal, like, you know, the human, what is it? The human trafficking and prostitution and things like that. So she Googled that movie as well. And they said that she has Googled some other things that kind of would let you know what her mindset was at the time. However, they were not going to let us know that because of her privacy. But I am wondering if those other searches that she had something to do with maybe her mental well-being, whether or not she was Googling, trying to decide if she was going to kill herself. This is all this is just my opinion right now. But it was interesting that they told us all that other part, didn't tell us this part, but they did say that they didn't believe that she had any mental illness or mental breakdown or episode at this time, right? But I just wanted to put that part in there. But anyway, all the things that she was Googling led up to her finally disappearing that night. And then, of course, like I said, 49 hours later, she resurfaced at the house. They said she just walked on down the street and she was back at her home. And as you can imagine, I'm sure the family, I think everybody was probably very relieved. Okay. But, you know, eventually, when you have investigators checking out a story, yeah, eventually they're going to get to it. I've told you guys plenty of times that cameras are going to be everybody's downfall. If it's not cameras, not necessarily the downfall, but you can't get away with anything anymore because there are cameras everywhere. And then you know that once you type something into a search engine, honey, that is there forever. You can erase the cookies, you can take the history off and everything. But if the FBI is involved, which they were in this case, they were able to go into the history of all that she had been searching on her phone, her cell phone, her home computer, even her computer at work. And they were able to piece all of these things together. And it all culminated in her disappearing. Now, when she did return, and once the police were able to question her after she had been treated at the hospital and released, the story that she gave them was that she was driving home She saw a baby on the side of the road. She pulled over, and she was trying to help the baby, and suddenly a man came from over a fence, okay? And of course that startled her. The man was up to no good, made her climb over the fence as well, and put her in the back of an 18-wheeler, okay? She said that it was a man and a woman, but she did not see the woman. She could only hear the woman's voice. But she also could hear this supposed baby crying, and she said that the man, the only description that they let us know was that he had orange hair and he had a bald spot in the back of his hair. I don't know what that what that looks like, okay? But that's what she told them. She said that they drove for some time, they took her somewhere, and then the next morning she was fed Cheez-Its by the woman, and the woman was also fascinated with her hair, apparently. Now, you guys remember when they found the car and she wasn't in it, her wig was still there, her purse, her belongings, phone, purse, all of that was still in the car. She said that the person was, fascinated with her hair and all of that. But eventually they got into another car, and I guess they were driving somewhere, but she was able to escape. And she said she ran through some woods, and then she happened to finally turn up. Once she came out of those woods, she was right back in her neighborhood. And so she was able to walk home and, be reunited with her family. The police also told us that before she was pulled over on the highway to help the baby, they said that she had gone to Target. She had bought some snack type items, some nail polish, and my thing is about to die. Hold on, you guys. Let me plug it in. Hold on. And so, once you put all that together on the story, besides the fact that the girl now is not cooperating with the police anymore because they said that they wanted to also re-question her because there were still some things that didn't make sense to them, and now the family is saying that they are not going to let her be questioned by the police again. And the mother has retained a lawyer. I know that father is just like, he knew the fuck that this was going to happen. I'm not mad at the parents. Let me just make that clear. I'm not mad at the parents because, you, like I said, you try to listen to your kids. You want to believe them and all of that. Even though it was clear that the dad already knew that his daughter had been lying, my heart hurts for them because, we got kids. Like Jada is this girl's age, or right around that girl's age. And I would like to think that my kids are smart enough to not do some shit like this, but you just don't always know. Like today's generation, we've had so many conversations about these kids today. Sometimes I wonder, like, what their reality is, and why is it that sometimes they don't seem to realize the consequences of their actions. Like, so while I don't think that this is something my kids can do, I guess you just be like, not to ask Jay, like, let me just make sure you ain't thinking about doing no shit like that. Cause you can't get away with these type of things. There are so many investigative tactics that the police have that we are not privy to, that we wouldn't even think of. Okay? And that's a lot of the times why the police like to keep these investigations very close to their vest. They like to be able to keep these methods that they have just in their circle so that you wouldn't be able to outwit them in a situation such as this, So I just was like, so the emotions that once we found out all of this, I think it went from mad to disappointment. Just disappointed, that this girl got the whole nation basically. We rally now when we find out that it's a black person, a black woman, the black Twitter, black social media, we fixing to get on it. Okay. And right now, social media has it to where anytime something like this, child, I'm gonna stop dropping. Sorry. Sorry about that, y'all. But what I was saying was social media has it now that anytime something like this happens, honey, people is on it. All right. And, you know, you just can't really get away. I guess from what the girl was Googling and trying to do, it sounds like she was going to either run away, or there's other stories that's floating around that possibly her and her boyfriend had broken up, and maybe she was trying to upset him enough to him wanting to find her and get back together with her and all of that. And it looked like her plan was going to work, because that boyfriend, if they weren't together, I mean, he was all in on this whole search. So I was just like, you know, this girl probably felt like she was going to pull this. It wasn't going to gain that much traction. She would finally show back up at home. All that would pass. Her and her man would be back together, and things would be good. But it didn't work out for her that way. And I just have to shake my head. There's nothing else really to say or do about it. You know, you just have to shake your head and you just be like, girl, I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but I'm happy that I'm able to say that the girl just lied, as opposed to me having to get on here and say that she was found dead. Okay? I'd rather her be an alive liar than a dead kidnapped victim. Okay? So there's that. But yeah, I just was like, I just don't understand. Now the people are really, really mad. And I can understand that, because people be so emotionally vested in these stories that come out on social media. And one day we gonna learn that sometimes social media can be used for good or for bad. Okay? And I guess the bad part of it was that there's no way that she was going to be able to get away with this. Okay? Because there are just so many other things that you have to think of when, you know, a person is being investigated for a crime like this. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than the boyfriend, who's a very good-looking young man, I should say. I don't think, if anything, her plan backfired, because he took down that post that he had, you know, where he was big up in the girlfriend and thanking everybody for being there and all of that. He took that post down, and I think that what she did was bring more attention to the boyfriend. You best believe somebody gonna snatch that boyfriend up. Okay? He seems to be like God-fearing young man, you know, graduate from college, good looking, like all of this. He's got those qualities, and now you brought just more attention to the boyfriend, unfortunately. On top of that, I don't know if the police are going to press charges. Some people say that they are. Some people say that they don't think that they will. You know, I go back and forth on this. This was the same situation that we had with Jussie Smollett. At one point I did, because I was so aggravated about it, just the gall that you think that, you know, people are stupid enough to believe this story. I was just like, yeah, put his ass in jail. But then I thought about it, and I was just like, he didn't really do anything to anybody. You know, people in jail, like, you know, just throwing folks in jail. You know, so I was like, not really sure, but you guys were like, no, Roxanne, you know, they used money to find, you know, these people, and, you know, they did all of this, and that money could have went towards something else, and, you know. So, I mean, I guess I understand why people be upset. What do you guys think? Like, I don't know if I want this girl to go to jail. Like, once you get over being aggravated, being so concerned, you know, prayers, and on social media trying to see if there's updates about the story, and making sure you looking and you calling the police when you think you might have a tip or something like that. Like, once you get past all that, you know, we've got this young 22, 23, however old the girl is, that, you know, we putting in jail. But people say she's a menace to society, and again, like I said, the police said that there's no mental issues there, but I'm just like, it has to be something, because who in their right mind does something to this extent, this extravagance? For it to all be a lie, like I have a hard time thinking that this girl didn't have some sort of lapse in judgment, but I guess lapse in judgment is still not considered a mental issue. And I guess they're saying because she was present enough in mind to do these searches and really try to line up her story and all, you know. But yeah, I don't know if I feel like she needs to go to jail. Because, you know, it's some real hardened criminals in jail. And then we have people in jail for non-violent offenses and all. But I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think about that. I feel sorry for her at the end of the day because she very clearly needs some help somewhere. Even if it is just a lesson in reality, connecting dots, and, you know, whether or not you think that your story is really going to sell like that, you know. But yeah, when that information came out yesterday, and let me tell you something, them police are pissed. Okay, that man very, very well laid out all of the facts that they had. And they were like, we gonna let y'all deduce it this time. We are tired of you guys making it seem like the police are out to get people, that they don't never try to help people, that they, you know, like, we ain't jumping to no conclusions here. We gonna tell y'all everything and we gonna let y'all do it. Okay, that's what we going to do. The Hoover Police Department there. So I can see where they would probably arrest her. And maybe just give her some sort of community time. What is it? Community service and all of this. But yeah, I don't know, you guys. It's really, yeah, it was really a fascinating day last night when I was just reading and looking at the comments and looking at all of that and the memes. Of course, the memes are just hilarious. Again, we can laugh about it now because the girl is alive and she's good. Okay. But yeah, I don't know what to make of it, child. All I know is we need to continue to talk to our children. I'm going to say it all the time. Our young adult children, I feel like our young adult children in this day of social media and everything else need just as much guidance as our children do when they are like 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, in those troublesome but really matter years when you really got to establish some sort of, you've got to establish the control over your children. Control sounds bad, but you know what I'm saying. You've got to establish that in those years. Otherwise, they get to be about 13, 14, 15. These motherfuckers is crazy. Okay. That same kind of attention that you need to give them kids at that time. Like, I feel like 20, 21, 22, the shit can go left too. And you're going to have to make sure that you keep up with them then too. My prayers go up for her and her family. All of the bad and all of the irritated looks and the bad messages and the threats and anything that might be coming their way. You know, I'm hoping that doesn't last for them. It won't. People will get over it. People will move on. But I know it's going to be a tough time for them right now. So prayers up for the mom, the dad, that boyfriend, all of the girls' family, because they were making videos as well. Okay. And prayers up for the girl. She needs some help. If it ain't no mental issue, it's something. That's all I'm saying. And y'all let me know what you think about it. How y'all feeling about it? Did you believe the story all the way up until the facts came out? Or were you skeptical like I was?
Bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets that taught me,
Bryson Leaks. Okay, Bryson Leaks is Nene Leaks' oldest son. Actually, I don't think his last name is Leaks. 1 second. It's not, you guys. I knew I had read that. His name is actually Bryson Bryant. They don't have, Bryson and his brother Brent do not have the same father. You guys know Brent's father was Greg Leaks, who died. And that's why Bryson has a different last name. Anyway, Apparently, Bryson was at a home in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is a suburb of Atlanta. A little further out, though. Lawrenceville is probably about 45 good minutes from Atlanta, the city. But apparently, Bryson was out at this residence, and for some reason, about 1 o'clock in the morning, the police were called. The police came to the location and encountered Bryson. I guess they spoke with him. I guess they searched him. And once they did, they found that Bryson had illegal possession of fentanyl, which is a level 2 controlled substance. We've heard nothing but bad things about fentanyl. Fentanyl was first brought on our scene back when Michael Jackson died from a fentanyl overdose. And we've heard many celebrities, many people, not even just celebrities, many people that have died just from getting a little small whiff of this damn drug. Apparently the street fentanyl is even more potent than the medical grade fentanyl. I mean, or I should say, listen, fentanyl is bad in any kind of way. If you're not a doctor and if you're not regulated, of how this is being administered, you shouldn't even be fucking with fentanyl. All right. And he had some on him. So they arrested him. They also arrested him for prowling, loitering, which means that he was probably out at this house at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they were the people that called the police on him because he wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. And maybe he might even been hyped up on drugs. Like, I don't know what Bryson's mentality was at the time, but when he encountered the police, he gave them his brother Brent's name. Which is something a lot of people, especially people that are already in legal trouble, might be on probation, parole, they don't want to put their name in the system. And even though usually they are caught, I would think all the time they are caught eventually. But of course, the police, when you first tell them, they don't know you. He probably didn't have any ID on him. And so he was able to give them that name. He also gave them the address of Nene's home that she sold. Okay. So it was clear that he was trying to throw the police off the path. And so that's why if you look into the records of his arrest, some of the initial reports say Brent's name, but it was Bryson, who is the older brother. Which is dirty, you guys. Just give not that he's really gotten his brother in any trouble, but he could have. That would have been a nuisance and a headache for that brother to be trying to prove to the legal system that was not him that was out there at the people's house in Lawrenceville at 1 a.m. with the fentanyl prowling and loitering, So that part is bad. He was booked and released later on that day, $5,900 bond, but they re-arrested him because this case now puts him in violation of a previous case that he was on parole or probation for. I always get those words mixed up. And since he violated, they re-arrested him, and now he's awaiting a court date. They haven't even given him a court date yet, but from what I understand, he is still in jail. And I feel for Nene because Nene it's been tough for Nene. Okay. Like I said, Greg's died. We know that he had cancer. Shortly after that, her youngest son, Brent, had a stroke and congestive heart failure, and had to learn how to walk and talk again. All of that was going on. He was in the hospital for a long time. She had to sell that lounge because Brent was the one that was running that lounge and all of that. She had this boyfriend, but now her and the boyfriend apparently have broken up. It looks like them two really are kind of still together, but back and forth. You guys know how that goes. I can't imagine. If Mr. and I weren't together anymore, just getting back out in the damn dating scene at this age, I don't like. My friends that I have that are maybe a little bit older than me that are dating men like in their 60s and still be having drama and shit, it just be like, oh my God. You mean to tell me the shit don't end even when they in their 60s and shit? Nope, it don't, y'all. So my mother-in-law be like, listen, Roxanne, if you knew like I knew, You stick with the one you got, because you just get somebody else and it's just new set of shit. Okay, so just keep your old shit. Don't get new shit at your old age. I don't even think I would remarry. But anyway, I'm getting off track. We know that Nene hasn't been able to really secure a steady job, you know, even though she was on Celebrity College Hill. And now this, you know, it just seems like Nene is getting hit back to back to back to back with things. I don't know. Some people will call that karma. You know, I would hate to think that these things that are happening to her children would be her karma. You know, I think that is just a rough, tough time for Nene right now. Okay. I also feel like, oh no, like I feel like, I think that Bryson is fighting a lot of demons. I think that, you know, I don't want to be putting out rumors about, I mean, he's found with fentanyl. So I believe that Bryson may have a drug problem. Okay. Alleged drug problem. I guess I should protect myself. This is just my opinion. But I think that Bryson, we don't hear much about him because I think that Bryson has a lot of stuff going on in his just own personal life. And I think that that drug situation might be a demon that he's fighting. I think that Bryson actually is fighting quite a few demons. And, you know, as parents, we love our kids and we want our kids to be successful and happy and healthy. That's all we want, right? Usually, because there's some fucked up parents out there too. But I know that Nene wants that for her kids. And, yeah, I think that there's more to that story. I think Bryson is just really I think that he's just in a bad way. So even though it is fucked up that he used his brother's name and all that, I mean, eventually that was going to be realized that he was lying. I think that we also could say that Bryson needs to be in a rehabilitation, and I just pray. I think that we could also say that Bryson could stand our prayers, okay? I know his brother probably is feeling a way about it. You know, his brother did post that meme, that really popular meme of Nene on that Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion when she was just like, now how my name get in it? See, I ain't even do nothing. Like, see how my name just get thrown? I posted it on my Instagram. You know, it was something funny to laugh about. But yeah, I do think that Bryson, because we don't never hear good things about Bryson. It's been a long time since we've heard good things about Bryson. I think Bryson is out there trying to just get through life, you guys. So y'all just go on and, you know, when you got a little time, just, you know, send one on up to the good man above. And not only pray for Bryson, but for Nene too. Because, you know, even though Nene is, she really, really works the nerves in a lot of ways. I will say that Nene's been hit left and right, like left and right. And hindsight is 20/20, right? I think that that's also why that Nene is starting to be like saying things like she would go back to the show and all of that, because I think that maybe even Nene might have some regrets, even though she won't admit it. But I believe that she probably wishes she handled things a little differently in certain situations. So yeah, you guys, did you guys hear about that? How y'all feel? Y'all ready to forgive Bryson for using Brent's name? Their family, they'll get past this. I've heard many families going through this exact same thing. They will be able to get past this, but really I think that Bryson just needs help. So hopefully, you know, Nene can help him get that.
But we're too bossy, we don't tread softly, but not flossy, the streets that talk.
All right, you guys, I guess if we're talking about Real Housewives, we can talk about this fight that happened on the set, the filming of this newest season of Real Housewives of Potomac. So apparently Ashley Darby was having a premiere party to showcase her new fashion line. Since when do we think that Ashley is a person that would create a fashion line that anybody in their right mind would? Listen, Ashley ain't, who told her to come out with a fashion line? What is it of, y'all? Is it workout gear? Okay, maybe I could understand if it was that, but if it's just regular fashions, if y'all don't get the fuck out my face with that shit. Child, next they'll be telling us Giselle coming out with a lie. I bet you she won't. Shit. Anyway, Ashley had an event at a place called the Zebby's Garden in DC. And, you know, it was a big event. There were a lot of people there. They invited their friends there and all. So apparently Dr. Wendy had invited her girlfriend, Kiana. Okay. And, well, we met Deborah, also lovingly known as the Cookie Monster that Candace had named her last season. We met Deborah last season. And remember, we didn't like Deborah because Deborah came in on some old hoorah, like just trying to get her moment, just doing way too much, trying to just... We never saw it for Deborah, okay? And we already knew how Deborah's attitude was last year. So I just was like, when I saw the video of the fight, I was like, okay, that looked like Deborah. And I know exactly how Deborah behaves to make you want to beat a bitch ass, right? So the video that circulated was apparently Deborah was having a conversation with Candace. Now, remember, Deborah said last season that Candace's husband, Chris, was trying to flirt with her at the bar. Totally not true. Chris paid her dust. He might have smiled at her and said hello or something, but she was putting 20 on 10, trying to make it seem like the nigga was all down her throat, wanting to be with her and all. That was just not it. Honey, them Bravo cameras caught all of that. But, so because of that, Candace ain't never really liked Deborah. And we were just like, I can't believe that Deborah's actually back this season. But, so they were sitting down around a table or a few tables or whatever. It's a bar environment. And, a bar lounge. And they got into some sort of confrontation and Deborah threw her drink at Candace. Okay. The drink splashed on Candace, which was why we saw Candace jump up and grab one of the bottles, the champagne or wine bottles, as if she was going to try to hit Deborah with it. But Candace ain't even had to worry about that. Well, first of all, Ashley stopped her. Ashley was like, no. Okay. If we ain't learned anything from the Brat's life, you don't need to be hitting bitches in the head with bottles. That shit don't shatter like it do in the movies. You gonna get this girl a fucking concussion. You might give her brain damage. You could even kill her. So let's not get a murder charge today, okay? But apparently when she threw the drink, she threw her cup as well, and her cup flew by and hit Kiana. Kiana was trying to, I guess, take up for Candace for some things that Deborah had been saying. And so Deborah kinda, well, I don't think she was really trying to hit the Kiana girl, but the cup hit, the glass hit Kiana, and, well, Kiana ain't like that. So that's when they all jumped up, and I guess Deborah was saying some shit, and the next thing you know, they was fighting. And honey, this was a good fight. Whoever did the video, I mean, they was in a perfect vantage point. They stood there. It wasn't no whole bunch of moving and jumping and shit. You know how it is when you be trying to see the fight. That Candace and Monique fight, still, like, even though you could kind of see what was happening, I felt like we could have gotten such a better angle if the cameraman would have just stood his ass still. You're a professional cameraman and you doing all this running around and shit. What's wrong with you? Anyway, this person in Zebby's, yeah, homeboy, he was like, I got it all on video. You sure did. Thank you. But anyway, they was fighting and shit, and there was looking like it was a stage or something. And there was another girl that we all thought was Giselle. She looked like Giselle from behind, maybe a little bit thicker, maybe a little bit more in a different type of a shape. But she looked enough like Giselle from behind, especially with this ponytail, this blonde ponytail that she had. We thought it was Giselle, but I was like, that is an awfully fashionable outfit for somebody like Giselle. The girl was cute, had on this yellow suit and like some different, you know, she had on a color block type of different shoe, and she was cute. I was like, I don't think that's Giselle. Isn't it terrible that you don't think somebody is that person because this person is actually cute and they usually look a fucking mess? Okay. But anyway, that girl tried to grab Kiana's hair to stop it and ended up pulling the whole shebang down. They all fell down on the ground, and eventually security was able to swoop in and get control and grab Deborah and all of this. Okay, somebody else grabbed the Kiana girl. Later on, you can see Candace yelling and screaming, arguing back and forth with Deborah. You can see the Ashley telling them that they need to get the fuck on. You know, it was just like a whole bunch. Really a bad look for Real Housewives of Potomac. Like, we just, you know, the fights as grown-ass successful business women and all that, it's just not a good look for a reality show. I was very happy to see that none of the actual wives on the show were in that fight, you know. So that is good for the show. They said that they're not going to show that brawl. I don't even know if Deborah and Kiana will be on the show this season now that happened. They probably are going, whatever that story arc was, they probably are going to really either severely edit it or just get rid of it altogether. You know, and the thing about these reality shows now, people say that it's a marketing move. I don't know if it's a good marketing move, but you know, now we see everything before it happens on the show. And some people tried to explain it to me that it's sort of like hype for the show, you know, get you excited to see it and everything, but they don't even be showing the fights like that, you know. I don't think that it's a good idea for us to see what happens. Like, you take all level of suspense away when we see it play out on social media. You know, I guess it is hard for them to keep certain things like close to the vest, like a party like that. That person that was recording was not on the show, obviously. Okay. And that person is able to put out their video if they want to. You know, and I'm assuming nobody from Bravo or the production company got in touch with them to tell them, like, please don't post that, or they might not even have known, you know. But I don't know, you guys, the reality shows is just in a huge, there's such a huge negative connotation when it comes to reality shows, and they've changed so much, and I don't really know what's going to happen with these reality shows and the success of them. Real Housewives of Potomac is still young enough where people still really like the show. Like, everybody is kind of getting tired of Atlanta. And so, but Potomac is going to be heading in the exact same way that Atlanta went. Now, Deborah, she maintains that she won that fight. I said, girl, not the video that we saw. Okay. But she posted on Instagram later on that day how Kiana, you know, left a nail in her hair, her real ponytail that she was trying to pull off, thinking that it was fake. But nah, bitch, this is a real ponytail. That's why you couldn't pull that shit off. Okay. Would you like your nail back? You know, she would like for somebody to post the video from a different angle that showed the work that she did to Kiana when they was down there on the floor. I said, girl, y'all wasn't even down on that floor but a second or two. I mean, I don't know what you could have did down there but a couple of pinches and twists. You wasn't doing none of this, nigga. You wasn't wailing on nobody. I know, because that security came and snatched you up so fast. You know, but apparently the Kiana girl went to the hospital. You know, she asked her, did you have a comfortable ride in the ambulance? Okay. This Kiana girl, who is also the founder and owner, CEO of K Stewart's Beauty and Wellness, has not made a comment. And I was like, Deborah, that's because she's probably going to sue your ass. Okay. And why would she give up any of her information in social media like you are, stupidly so? Okay? No, she gonna hold on to all of that. She gonna find her a lawyer and she gonna sue you. All right? And that's why I said that Bravo probably won't even show the fight and may even get rid of them, because Bravo don't need to be having no parts of any, you know, legalities. And if I was Kiana, and I knew that girl hit me first, yeah, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. So that's probably more of the reason why the girl ain't said nothing, and not the fact that she's afraid of Deborah or anything, because that Deborah is just like, ugh. So we'll see if they end up on the show. But Deborah had rubbed us all so wrong last season that I was surprised that they decided to bring her back this season. We're going to have to have a real talk, maybe at the end of this year, about the direction of my reviews and things that I'm going to be doing, because the reality shows, they just ain't giving what it's supposed to give, you guys. But yeah, it was a bad look. It was a bad look. But very, very pleased that none of the housewives was really involved in that. I mean, you can't control your friends, right? They gonna do what they do, but they probably won't be on the show either.
My nigga Bay, we came from Section 8, and I knew I was at since the 2nd grade. Man, I swear my time is coming, cause I'm never late.